those of you watching and you can hear the Condor has landed. Look at that right there. Matt Hoffman, welcome. Thank you so much for jumping in with ASC. It's been a while, my friend. How many years has it been since you and I have seen each other?
No, I mean, since we really got to hang out, it's been a long time, but I mean, we would cross paths at events and stuff, but we were always both people trying to take our attentions. So we couldn't really hang out much, it seemed like, but you know, I'm sure we've pretty recently had a passing high five or something. I don't know.
Virtual high five right now. That's all. Yeah. Okay. There's so much stuff I want to catch up on. I want to dive right into like all things COVID. That it's been this crazy boom when it comes to bikes. And how long has Hoffman Bikes been around?
This is going to be our 30th year in 2021. So wow. I've designed. I kind of went back to the beginning and just did everything myself and just total DIY. I made 16 different type of bikes that I'm going to be releasing soon. No one's seen them, but I did my first 12-inch. I got the 16-inch, the 18-inch, 3 20-inches, and then a 26-inch Condor replica. So yeah, it's been fun.
And can you keep them in stock right now? I know, like anyone I talk to in the bike industry, there's no inventory, there's no stock. What's the demand like been for you?
That's a strange a repercussion from the COVID crisis. I mean, it's like everybody wants to get outside, and so it just really stoked the bike industry. And yeah, I've been out of bikes since April, and so yeah, I just been twiddling my thumbs, riding my backyard, and just kind of building these bikes up, just getting them ready for release.
So if you're telling me you're riding in the backyard, that means the cadaver ligaments, everything's holding, right?
Yeah, no, I blew out the cadaver, and then I got synthetics, you know, a synthetic ligament up in Canada, but I did that, but it was like, well, I had to get in Canada because FDA wouldn't sanction it, so I couldn't do it in America, and so I went to Canada, and they were like, well, you know, we could maybe, you know, if we could maybe get the FDA to sanction it, if we could show that this is less dangerous. So if we could prove we could do the surgery without anesthetics, then we could resubmit it to the FDA and get them to approve it. And so I volunteered to do it without anesthetics because I'd saved like $800. And so that was pretty fun, just holding a drill while someone drills through your leg 8 inches.
I like how you see the silver lining in that. Have you, at this point, just stopped kind of counting? I remember that was a big thing with you, is everyone would love to kind of list all the injuries. Have you stopped counting at this point?
Yeah, I started realizing how that was pretty dumb to do, because it's like, why do you want to remember the worst moments of your life? Wait, let me just in case I'm starting to get in a good mood, so let me just go look at this list real quick and remember all the hard times I had. No, but yeah, so then, you know, I blew out that ligament. I went through 3 of those ligaments, and then and now I don't have an ACL, but I just use those asterisk. I think that's what's called, the asterisk knee braces, and they're super great, man. They like, you don't even need an ACL anymore.
It's inspiring watching you still ride, watching Dennis, you know, DMC, and you know the older riders that, you know, they're still getting at it. You mentioned that Hoffman Bikes is 30 years old. How long ago was it that you towed into the wooden quarter pipe and did that? You know, what was it, like a 25? And this is all pre-mega ramp, but how long ago was that?
Yeah, that was like, that's kind of the same year I started Hoffman Bikes. So that's 30 years old too. And then, because I remember on when I turned 43, that was the 25th year. And so I was like, and then Danny Way built his big ramp in the back of, or I guess he built it over at Jeremy McGrath's place in kind of Northern California. Oh wait, no, I think it was more, yeah, it was around San Diego, but it was east, it was kind of more east inland. So to celebrate 25 years, I went to his ramp and knocked myself out and broke my collarbone. It was fun.
So that's an interesting way to celebrate. I'd love to get your perspective. I mean, you've been around, you know, I'm going like, I don't know if I think back to like early days, Ron Wilkerson and all the 2 Hip series, and you've seen such progression, like from the earlier days of BMX. When you watch what's going down right now in BMX, what's your takeaway? Does it make you smile?
Man, it's amazing. I mean, it's just like, I mean, just so many different areas of riding, you know, it's all progressed so much from even like, you know, the stunt type of riding where you just, someone just, like I was one of those guys that got a video game back in the day, and I got to come up with all these tricks that I got to, whenever we're coming up with them, we're like, yeah, this will never happen. And they surpassed that like 10 years ago. And now there's just so much amazing stuff, and street riding's just such an art. And I mean, it's just incredible watching it. It makes me pretty dang proud.
Are there any riders specifically that you watch that you really feel embody like the essence of BMX, even in its current state? Like you said, you brought like street riding is at such a different level now versus even just 5 years ago. But does one rider stand out in your opinion?
Man, Brad Sims, he's just such an amazing dude, and he just has so much power. And Dennis Anderson, I mean, everything he touches he won't touch anything unless there's like a life-threatening, like problem with. I mean, it's just the stuff I saw. He just released a video recently, and I mean, I got exhausted watching it. It was incredible, man. But there's just so many rad dudes now. I mean, it's just, the list goes on.
So permission to get nostalgic here. When you think back on accomplishments, when we're talking about whether it be X Games or even like I said, I mentioned like the 2-Hip series or some of the Hoffman events and some of those B3s. Does one event like stand out as one of your favorites, and if so, why?
Man, I mean, they all had. I mean, I like just kind of the old school ones where we just kind of would just name a date and we just get everybody together and just celebrate BMX. And so that was kind of like the whenever I'd be able to just do my independent cons and stuff. And maybe, I mean, whenever I first started doing the big ramp, people thought I like photoshopped that stuff, and that wasn't real. And so I did have a contest at my park in Oklahoma, and I had the vert ramp there. And so I did a demo on that ramp, and that was pretty fun. And of course, it was fun until, well, actually, I was supposed to get surgery on my shoulder the week before because I had a torn rotator cuff, and I postponed my surgery. And then I did the show, but then I crashed and I wrecked my shoulder more. And so it's good I was already scheduled. So
it was pretty amazing how you could knock that thing back in. You got really good at that.
We were talking about Taiwan. I was wondering, did I have an injury? But I think I did dislocate my shoulder, didn't I?
Yeah.
Because I think I remember Tim Payne would always he showed me a secret that he did with his shoulder, and it like totally helped get my shoulder in all the time. But
remember how hot that was doing a half pipe demo in Chai Kang Shek Memorial, and Tim Payne built the ramp, and I think it was about 120 degrees. Do you remember how hot it was? Those were good times. What about guys that you competed against? Do you kind of sit back and smile? Like what rider did you really enjoy competing against? Going back, because you had some good rivalries over the years, whether it be Jay Miron or whether rest his soul Dave Mira, and you had some good back and forths. Dennis McCoy.
Yeah, I mean, all those guys are amazing to ride with. I mean, because we were all just, whenever it's such a small community, and to get to that level, you have to sacrifice so much, and so there's just total respect for each other, and we just grew up together, so we're just great friends, and so we try to get focused and do better than each other whenever the bell rings and it's time to do a contest. But it's really in the end, it's just we could be just riding a backyard ramp together, and that's basically how it feels.
It's kind of interesting, a lot of people, there's been so much talk and there's been so much action when it comes to Black Lives Matter, and recently you had a posting that you were talking about tolerance, and that in many ways that's a risk for someone, a public figure like yourself, to kind of take a stance, and for yourself and for Hoffman Bikes. Can you kind of take us through that process and what led you to come out and make a statement?
Oh man, if that's a risk, man, then I mean, I like risk, but that's not a risk at all. I don't think. I think it's just sad that it's considered a risk, because it's like, I mean, why would someone feel bad about standing up for somebody, but that was amazing just to see that color of society of just like how people took offense that someone isn't racist, and that is condoning, like is coming down on racism, that made people mad, and it's like, then I'm pretty stoked that I made those people mad, you know, but yeah, that was it, but it is open it up because sometimes we live in our, like in our box of like, just privilege, and we don't realize, we don't see how fucked up everything is, and so it's good to kind of push over our sandcastle and just kind of get our feet dirty and just kind of just see it for real, and just and stand up for the people that need to be stood up for.
Speaking of that, I mean, you've like not only have you watched so much progression within BMX, but the media has changed too. With Hoffman bikes, how are you? What's your approach and maybe advice to other kind of young upstarts, other companies out there? To how should they handle kind of going after kind of promotion and using that aspect of their social media as a company?
It's different when you run a company that's about your passion, because it's you have different values assigned to it. Like I don't really see, I can lose money and feel like it was the most valuable thing I did, and I think that, so that's a little different with me in companies, and my business advice is as soon as I started thinking about giving advice, I'm like, man, that's terrible advice, because it's better. It's good to understand it as a business, but to know you can't give everything away, but also, why do a business unless you're completely passionate about it? So I think first thing is just like, just love what you do and do what you love. And not everybody, we don't need the same 15 bikes in the world. Do something different. And yeah, just, that's what I have one bike called, the Seeker. It's like the first bike in my 20-inch line. And that's kind of an intro bike to the riders that are just getting into it. And it's like the Seeker, it's a poet out of Japan that was like, don't follow in the footsteps of the master, seek what they sought. And so I try to encourage people, to not just get into bikes to try to one up everybody, but do something totally different, like make your own thing. It's like, that's the beauty of it. It's only limited by your imagination, your creativity. So surprise us and do something new.
Where's your level at now? I know you were big into base jumping. Is that something that you're still getting after these days? Or you?
Actually, I was supposed to base jump yesterday, but my back was out. So Friday I'm climbing a windmill, but because there's a lot of windmills out there now. But yeah, so I still base jump. I've had maybe I got to jump off the Dover Cliffs in England last September, about a year ago. That was pretty beautiful.
And that's high enough where you can get the chute out in time?
Yeah, that's about 400 and something feet. Okay. So, it gave me a couple seconds, but I jumped with a friend that, so I opened above him and he opened lower. So we just kind of, distanced our openings, but then here, everything is kind of small. Like I have a tower that's maybe 200, everything's about 220, 230 feet. Like the windmills, all the wind turbines. Like last time I jumped a wind turbine, it was a couple of weeks ago, and it was just it was a little bit windy, but I really want to walk out onto one of the big blades to the very end until it starts going down, and then jump off. That's what I'm working up to.
Not that you're looking forward to it, but is there going to be a time where you're like, okay, I'm gonna slow down a little bit?
That's the most dangerous thing for me to do. Like every time I try to think I'm going to slow down to be safer is whenever I get dangerous. And I like slowing down is, I don't know why, but I always hurt myself. And I try to like, not, I don't know. Maybe I think, okay, I don't have to focus so much because this is easier. I'm just not going to be as gnarly or whatever, but I just gotta, I'm like one speed. If I try to make myself mellow, I get injured or I go in the hospital for some reason. I don't know why. So I after a few times, I'm like, yeah, I should just do that 540 a little lower since I haven't done one in a while. And then I crash it because I did it too low and I didn't have time. I'm like, after a few of those, you're like, I started realizing that I can't slow down. I just got to be me, you know. That's the safest thing.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention to all the viewers out there that you are the artist on some of these things behind you, are you not? It's one of your other...
Like all the ones below right there, Tim Kerr did, but all this art, here, I'll just give you a little, all that stuff is art I do. I did do a bunch of commissions and stuff, but those ones I just painted for myself.
You're a talented man, Mr. Matt Hoffman. What's coming up for you? Like, obviously, it sounds like you're going to be pretty focused on making more bikes. But bikes aside, what's coming up next for you?
You know, this was going to be a pretty big year for me, and then everything got shut down. But you know, I mean, I don't mind a year off, and I kind of been, I think, preparing for this pandemic for a while, because I have a backyard ramp. I do my business out of my home, so it's kind of I mean, I don't feel like, I mean, it's just I miss my friends, you know. But yeah, what else is coming up for me? I guess I just finished. I took this downtime, and I have one of those G ramps, like the kind they use at the X Games and stuff, that's portable, and it was like and it was all metal, and I've got about let's see here, about 70 feet of it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna completely resurface these and repaint them and just redo my ramp. And so I started this 2-week job that took me like 4.5 months. And so I totally resurfaced everything, put new birch on it, put new skate light on it, and skate light hooked me up. So thanks, skate light. And then I sanded everything, repainted all the surfaces, and so I've got this beautiful new vert ramp in my backyard, and I have it kind of it connects to a mini ramp. So there's some cool lines there, and yeah, so I just been having fun on my bike and jumping off things.
It sounds like we're, I think, in need of maybe a Hoffman Bikes barbecue backyard jam. It sounds like you're pretty set up for that. Obviously, when the time is right. But I'm just planting the seeds, so maybe you can invite us all to come out to the house and.
Yeah, I do want to do. I mean, right before we got shut down, like. I did this speech at this Rotary Club, and all these people wanted to support my next event and stuff. And so, but then everything got shut down. But we're still talking. So I'm going to have a good independent jam here at my skate park, because I built a whole new section onto the skate park, a street section that Clint Walker actually designed. And yeah, so it's pretty cool, because I designed all the tranny stuff in this park, and then and he designed all the street stuff, and it's really connected. It's pretty rad. So I'm excited about that. That's an event that I'm working on, that whenever things clear up, I'm kind of hoping, the mystery date I have out there is like probably around this time in 2021, you know, but we'll just see how everything goes. But then why I brought that up is because if you come out, we can have a barbecue.
Okay, good to know, Matt. I love how the wheels are always turning, and you're such an inspiration, a living legend, Mr. Matt Hoffman. Thank you so much, and stay safe, and we hope to see you for that backyard little barbecue.
Wow, that was quick. We're done?
Yeah.
All right. Peace. Yeah.